It's the Black Sea. The Blue Sea turned black because of the oil spill that has marred the Chennai coastline for the past 6 days. It's the seventh day with citizens coming together with the Indian Coast Guard trying to clean up their shore. They're using very rudimentary equipment, but their spirits are high as they are trying to clean up the mess. The mess that's caused by a private ship, empty Kanchipuram. Detailed probe being asked by the centre as well on what exactly happened on Saturday 4 a.m. where these two ships collided. My colleague Akshita first up gets us this exclusive report from the Indian Coast Guard ship. The efforts being taken to ensure that Chennai coastline is clean once again.
India today is on board Coast Guard ship Anag, and here we get you an exclusive sneak peek into how exactly the Coast Guard is surveying this big beautiful ocean across the Chennai coastline. This comes of course after that massive oil spillage. The Coast Guard is here showing us exactly what is the reality on the ground. So in this report we show you whether there's reason to worry or not. This particular area in the sea, the Coast Guard has done a fine job. They've ensured that if there were any patches of oil at all, that if there was any sort of pollutants in the water, it's been completely removed. So the good news is that while efforts are being made along the coast to remove all that sludge out in the sea here on board the Coast Guard ship, what I found, what my teams found, is that there's absolutely no oil and there is no pollutants, courtesy the Coast Guard who managed over the last many days to do a very fine job and clear out all of this toxicity and all of the pollutants. So I'm standing here at Ennore, really in the middle of the ocean. On my left is the port. On my right is where of course all the ships are anchored, and you see several ships there. That's exactly where the oil spillage took place, is what we know. The crew on board here have told us that this is where the oil spillage took place. The ships were anchored here and that's when the collision took place. Meters really away, and you really see that there is absolutely no oil spillage at this point. They managed to clear up this entire area. In fact, we understand that it was about 1.8 miles from the collision where we saw really all of that oil spillage. But standing here, I can see right now that there isn't any. In fact, the sun is setting here as well, but you can see that the ocean is clear as of now. There doesn't seem to be any problem. The Coast Guard has managed to clean up this entire part over the last many days. This happened on Saturday when those two ships did collide here, which led to that massive oil spillage. Many days on, they've actually managed to get things under control here. So we're exactly 1 mile away from the Marina Beach shore. All the famous landmarks are right in front of me. You have the lighthouse that's right there. You can see it from this particular distance, just about 1 mile away from the beach. That's the lighthouse. You have, of course, the Chepauk Stadium. So you have this as the entire stretch of the popular Marina Beach. So we've travelled essentially the entire expanse from Ennore to Marina Beach, which is where supposedly the oil spill had spread to. We also showed you exactly how there was some oil residue at the Marina Beach. But here in the ocean, it definitely doesn't seem like there is any oil residue. So that's the good news. The fact that after the last many days of endless work by the Coast Guard as well as other authorities, there is no pollutant here in the water. I've travelled over the last 3 hours alone on the ship, the Coast Guard ship Anaga, and we've traversed nearly 30 kilometers from Ennore all the way to Marina Beach. And what we've discovered is that at this point, the Coast Guard has ensured that things are under control and that any sign of oil, any slicks of oil, have been completely removed. So while work continues along the shore, this fast patrol vehicle, along with many other ships, continue to monitor the surrounding areas miles away from the shore to ensure that things are under control, to ensure that there is no pollution in the sea. With camera person Vijay Shekhar, this is Akshita Nandagopal on board a Coast Guard ship Anaga to bring you this exclusive report for India Today.
India Today is the first time to be on board our Indian Coast Guard ship, getting you all the details of how the efforts are being made to clean up the Chennai oil spill. Joining us this morning is A. Saravanan of the DMK. Mr. Saravanan, we've seen the voices coming from the DMK. What's your plan of action in the Parliament today?
Yesterday this issue was raised in the parliament by our leader, Madam Kanimozhi there. We have to see the main problem now is how to fix responsibility. See, this is the first time this is happening. So, of course, there have been a delay of 2 or 3 days about assessing the enormity of the issue, but they have done that now. They are going up to the task. The main issue now is how to make, who's responsible, fix responsibility and ensure that, the
delay in DMK responding to this crisis, AIA DMK responding to this crisis. Do you believe there's been a delay from the state government?
Certainly, there has been a delay, but you can't blame it entirely on the state government because what has happened is the Port Trust, I think they have not come out with a clear particulars and they have not properly addressed the state government or the appropriate authorities about the magnitude of the damage. If they had, because original report said that was just a ton of oil that was let out, but now we come to know that around more than 50 tons of oil has
absolutely been major lapse there, Mr. Saravanan. But also, final question: will your party be approaching the president as well? Because we've heard from various DMK MPs as well that if the centre refuses to intervene, now you will be approaching the president.
I think I am not exactly aware of the line of action, but certainly, this is the most important thing on the agenda of our party leaders.
Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Saravanan. So DMK all set to raise the issue once again in the parliament today. Joining us now is my colleague Pramod, who's on board the Indian Coast Guard ship as well. Pramod, take us through the efforts being made today and what's the assessment? How long before the Chennai coastline is clear?
Well, Devina, as we spoke to the Minister for Fisheries, Mr. Jayakumar, yesterday, he declared our doubt saying that the update is that close to 60 tons of sludge, which is a mixture of sand, oil and water, has been recovered. Not just that, there is only another 15% to go according to his estimate. And right now we are on top of ship ICG Varad. This is a Coast Guard ship over here. They've decided to take us to the place where the accident occurred. According to the fishermen over there, we came to know that this particular accident between MT Dawn and MT Maple occurred almost 12 fathoms from the coast of Ennore. And right now, this particular, as we spoke to certain officials at the Coast Guard, they have cleared it out, saying that there is no oil spill or any kind of patch on the sea, and they are thankful about it. But still, this ship is equipped with a TC bucket, a spill sprayer, and more equipment. They are going to anyway take it over there just to make sure that nothing else is on the sea right now. And they've also said that since the oil spill that has reached the shore, the only thing they can do right now is manually remove it because they have placed boulders all across Ennore Port, Ennore seashore, to protect it from sea erosion. And so right now the only way to remove the soil, this this oil spillage from that place is through manual help, and that is why they have deployed close to 1,100 volunteers from different sectors of the organization, government and various groups as well, Devina.
Pramod, take us through what's happening around you. It's day 6 of efforts by citizens and as well as the Indian Coast Guard to clean up the mess created from that collision on Saturday. Take us through what's happening around you.
Well, this is ICG Coast Guard ship Varad, and what you see is that to my right side there is an oil space spriller. The TC bucket. That is a special equipment that could be attached to a helicopter, is what an official told us right here, to remove this particular oil spillage from the sea. And to my left, you could see there is one equipment called as spill spray spiller, which according to them spills a certain kind of bacteria which actually works on this oil and degrades it, make it biodegradable. Right now we've come to know this particular oil that has spilled on the sea is called as a heavy furnace oil. Unfortunately, earlier the officials maintained that it was only 1 to 2 tons. Right now we've come to know it is more than 27 tons, and that is a problem. Had they worked earlier, a little earlier, this kind of major disaster could be averted. Unfortunately, so many olive ridleys have lost its life along with countless fish. And right now there is also one more problem that is occurring in Chennai. Blaming this oil spillage, people in Chennai are not ready to buy fish from the fishermen across Ennore and Chennai, stating that the fish could be poisoned as well. Well, the Minister for Fisheries yesterday explained to us, stating that nothing of such sort has occurred. Fish are not poisoned as of now, and they have also sent a sample of this particular oil to the Madras University, where it will be found out if it is like poisonous to human beings or not. And in this ship right now, as we can see, we are sailing from Chennai port to Ennore, which I believe is close to 7 nautical miles from here. We've started from the port over here. We're on our way over there. Hopefully another 20 minutes we will reach Ennore port. The Coast Guard has decided to take us to the place where the exact accident occurred to show that everything has been cleared from the spot, the ground zero. And from there, we believe they'll take us to the close to the shore as well to show what kind of work has been occurring there as well, Devina.
Well, Pramod, we're staying with the visuals that you're getting us, and it's interesting to see the various mechanisms being deployed by the Indian Coast Guard to ensure that the Chennai oil spill is curtailed. We should tell our viewers that approximately 60 tons, which is around 60,000 kgs of oil sludge has been removed from the sea, and this only after a minor collision is what this accident was termed as. Many questions being asked also on how the collision happened, if there was a delay for 72 hours initially in which the oil spill could have been contained. Also the various equipment that's being used by the Indian Coast Guard. It's interesting to see they've deployed pump suckers to ensure that oil is removed and separated from the water. They've also ensured that chemicals is dispersed over the sea to break down the oil components, and it coagulates as a cake which can later be taken out from the sea. We've seen volunteers at the Chennai shore as oil spill is coming closer to the shore who have lined up in a human chain format where they're taking out oil from the bucket. So Pramod, take us through the efforts that the Indian Coast Guard is making. What is the technique specifically that they're using to ensure this oil spill is curtailed faster?
Devina, the initial kind of the decision to the how the Coast Guard was informed was through the fishermen, it seems, and they have immediately deployed an equipment called RO boom. If I can show you, this is one ship that is actually an oil tanker. In this one, what you see is that there are containers on top of it. But when it comes to an oil tanker like MT Dawn Maple, the tanker is stored under that, what you see, that blue frame. Under it is stored, and when this MT Maple collided with it, there was a hole over there, there was a fire, and through that only that oil spilled into the sea. Close to, now we believe it is close to 60 tons of oil. Earlier it was only mentioned as 1 to 2 tons. What the Coast Guard has done is that immediately they deployed the RO booms in the sea to remove that oil spillage from that one, because that will cause a major disaster to the ecosystem of the ocean. After going to the RO boom, what happened is that since there was a delay in deploying the equipment, that spillage reached the shore. On that shore, as we mentioned earlier, there were boulders, and there is no possibility for us to use sucker pumps or this kind of booms or like a TC bucket or anything because of the geographical formation over there. That is when the Coast Guard asked for volunteers, fishermen, Coast Guard, Highway Department, TNPCB, everybody entered the spot. They started removing it through buckets, because the Coast Guard still says that is the only way, the easiest way to remove the spillage when this oil spillage reaches the area of Ennore. And what they did at Marina and Pesanagar is that since it was a sandy beach, it reached the shore. They removed it through various equipments, Devina.
All right, so Pramod, before we let you go, very quickly, very last question. How much time before the Chennai coast will be cleaned?
Well, as per Jayakumar, the Fisheries Minister, he has mentioned that there is another today and tomorrow, this entire coast will be clean. Minded, it should be around 29 kilometers, and the major part is only Ennore. On the other sides of the beach, around night when the tide is high, these patch of various oils come and disperse on the seashore. That is being removed around 6 o'clock in the morning. It has become a routine right now. But the major concentration is at Ennore, where the oil spillage has reached the shore, and right now, most of the work is occurring over there. And he has promised that only 15% of oil sludge should be removed, which would be complete by tomorrow afternoon, Devina.
All right. Thanks so much, Pramod, for joining us. The next 24 hours, very, very crucial right now for Chennai. Indian Coast Guard deployed there, getting these visuals as well of how the rescue workers continue to see the situation on the ground. And we are tracking the story very closely.